Nothing needs to be added, not because effort has failed, but because completion is not produced. Already complete does not announce itself. It does not arrive with relief. It does not feel like resolution. It simply does not depend on what comes next. The sense that something is missing may appear. It is allowed. That sense does not point to absence. It points to a habit of searching. Searching assumes distance. Here, there is none. Already complete does not deny experience. It does not dismiss desire or movement. It simply does not require them to finish anything. Thoughts may suggest improvement. They may offer direction. They may outline a future state. None of that completes this. Completion is not ahead of this moment. It is not behind it either. It is not spread across time. Already complete means nothing is waiting to be filled in. Even the feeling of incompleteness does not contradict this. It appears and dissolves without changing what remains. The body continues in its own rhythms. Sensation shifts. Attention moves. None of this subtracts from what is already whole, already complete. Does not feel satisfying. Satisfaction implies fulfillment of a need. Here, there is no need to fulfill. It does not feel empty either. Emptiness implies lack. This is neither fullness nor lack. It is the absence of measuring it all. Already complete does not make promises. It does not say nothing else will arise. It does not say you will never seek again. Seeking may occur. It does not remove completion. The sense of something missing does not create a gap. It creates a story. Stories come and go. Completion does not participate. Already complete does not require recognition. Recognition does not finalize it. Forgetting does not diminish it. It remains without acknowledgement. There is no need to hold this idea. Ideas are optional. Completion is not an idea. It is not something to believe. It is not something to remember later. It is simply what has not been waiting for anything else to happen. Nothing here needs to be carried forward. Nothing needs to be resolved. Nothing needs to be brought together. Already complete does not conclude. It does not end a search. Search may continue. It simply does not depend on the search coming to an end. There is no gap between this moment and what it points to. The sense of a gap appears as an idea, not as a space. No gap does not mean everything feels connected. Feeling connected is an experience. Experiences change. No gap names what has not opened. Between thought and sensation, between breath and sound, between now and the next moment, nothing separates what appears from what contains it. The idea of distance relies on comparison. Comparison requires two positions. Here, there is only appearance and what it appears within. They are not side by side. They are not layered. They are not linked. There is no interval where something is absent. Even when attention pauses, even when the mind hesitates, nothing drops out. The pause does not reveal absence. It reveals continuity that does not need filling. No gap does not deny contrast. Contrast may appear. Silence and sound. Stillness and movement. Ease and discomfort. Contrast does not create separation. It creates distinction within what remains whole. The body may sense intervals, moments of anticipation, moments of release. These intervals belong to rhythm, not to absence. Nothing waits in between. No gap is not a smoothing over. It does not blur experience. Sharpness remains sharp. Edges remain clear. There is simply no opening. where something essential disappears. The mind may search for a missing link. Links imply chains. Here, nothing is chained together. Experience does not require assembly. No gap does not ask you to see wholeness. Seeing implies perspective. This does not depend on viewpoint. It remains intact. Whether noticed or not, the sense of interruption belongs to narrative. Narrative organizes events. It does not structure reality. Even the thought, "I lost it," appears fully. It does not point to loss. Loss requires a place where something once was. No such place is found. No gap also means nothing needs bridging. Bridges imply crossing. Nothing here is crossed. Time may be felt as sequence. Sequence does not introduce absence. Each moment arrives complete, not because it is filled, but because nothing is missing from it. No gap does not create certainty. Certainty is a mental state. This is not a state. It is the absence of a place where absence could occur. Nothing here needs to be patched. Nothing needs to be carried over. Nothing waits in between moments. What appears, appears whole. What dissolves, dissolves, without leaving a space behind. Nothing is being added to make this complete. Addition implies insufficiency. Here, insufficiency is not found. No addition does not deny growth. Change may occur. Understanding may expand. Experience may deepen. None of this finishes anything. Completion does not wait for improvement. It does not accumulate through insight or time. The sense that something should be added appears as movement. Movement belongs to experience. What contains experience does not require enrichment. No addition also means nothing needs to be brought in from elsewhere. Elsewhere implies distance. Distance implies separation. No separation is present, even when something new appears. A thought, a realization, a feeling of clarity. It does not arrive to fill a lack. It arrives fully formed within what was already whole. The mind may suggest progress. Progress implies direction. Direction implies destination. No destination is needed here. No addition does not reject learning. Learning happens. It simply does not lead toward completion. Completion is not a result. It is not earned through accumulation. The body may notice change. Energy shifts. Patterns soften or reorganize. These changes do not improve what remains unchanged. No addition does not mean nothing happens. It means what happens does not complete anything. Even the desire to understand belongs. Desire arises without adding substance. Understanding may come and go. Completion does not wait for understanding to settle. No addition also means nothing is missing from this moment that could arrive later. Later does not deliver wholeness. Later delivers experience. Experience does not supply what is already present. The sense of anticipation may arise. Anticipation implies something ahead. No addition means nothing ahead is required. Anticipation appears without consequence. It does not open a gap. It does not mark absence. No addition does not create finality. Finality implies an end point. This has none. It simply does not depend on accumulation. Nothing here is in process of becoming complete. Nothing is approaching readiness. Readiness implies preparation. This does not prepare. It remains. Even the idea of almost does not apply. Almost implies distance remaining. No distance is found. No addition does not conclude. It leaves experience free to unfold without assigning it a role. Nothing arrives to complete this. Nothing departs to diminish it. Lack does not appear here as a fact. It appears as an interpretation. No lack does not deny sensation. Hunger may arise. Fatigue may appear. Longing may move through. These do not indicate absence in what remains. They indicate movement within experience. Lack assumes something essential is not present. Here, nothing essential is absent. The feeling of lack does not point to a whole. It points to comparison. Comparison measures this moment against an imagined alternative. That alternative does not exist outside of thought. No lack does not remove desire. Desire arises naturally. It moves, changes direction, loses intensity. Desire does not subtract from what is whole. The body may register need. Need belongs to function. Function does not define completeness. A need can arise without implying deficiency. The mind may suggest repair. Repair implies damage. No damage is found in what remains. No lack does not require reassurance. Reassurance implies fear. Fear may arise. It does not reveal absence. It reveals a story about vulnerability. Vulnerability belongs to conditions. What remains does not depend on conditions. Even moments of emptiness do not contradict this. Emptiness is a felt quality. It does not indicate missing substance. It is not a sign that something should be filled. No lack does not mean fullness. Fullness implies saturation. This is neither full nor empty. It is not measured that way. The sense of needing something to feel complete does not complete anything. It arises and dissolves without consequence. No lack does not promise satisfaction. Satisfaction is an experience. It comes and goes. Completion does not depend on it. Even dissatisfaction does not introduce lack. It introduces contrast. Contrast does not divide. What remains whole. No lack does not correct perception. Perception may distort. Distortion does not remove what is present. There is no requirement to see this clearly. Clarity does not validate it. Confusion does not obscure it. No lack remains. Without needing alignment, nothing needs to line up. Nothing needs to settle. Nothing needs to be confirmed. No lack does not conclude with certainty. Certainty belongs to thought. This does not rely on it. It remains, whether certainty appears or not. Nothing here requires fixing. Repair implies damage. It assumes something essential has been broken or lost. No repair does not deny difficulty. Strain may appear. Confusion may surface. Discomfort may move through. These do not indicate fault. They indicate activity. What remains was never damaged by activity. The idea of repair arises when experience is measured against an ideal. That ideal is imagined. No repair does not oppose improvement. Skills can develop. Understanding can mature. Circumstances can change. None of this restores anything. Nothing was missing to begin with. The impulse to fix often carries urgency. Urgency assumes time pressure. Here, there is none. Nothing is running out. Nothing is degrading. Nothing is failing. No repair also means nothing needs to be corrected before presence is allowed. Allowance is not conditional. Presence is not granted after improvement. It is already the case during confusion. Even the feeling of being off does not indicate error. It indicates contrast. Contrast does not imply malfunction. The body may register imbalance. Balance shifts continuously. Shifting does not require repair. It requires movement. Movement resolves itself. No repair does not remove responsibility. Actions still occur. Choices still happen. Consequences still unfold. None of this repairs presence or damages it. Presence does not depend on outcomes. The mind may replay moments, looking for mistakes. Mistakes belong to function. Function does not define wholeness. Nothing essential was compromised. No repair does not seek reassurance. Reassurance implies threat. Threat appears in thought. What remains is not threatened. Even the belief that something is wrong does not make it so. Belief is content. Content does not structure reality. No repair does not instruct acceptance. Acceptance is an experience. It may appear or not. Completion does not wait for acceptance. Resistance may arise. It does not break anything. No repair does not conclude with resolution. Resolution implies a problem was solved. This does not present a problem. It simply leaves experience as it is, free to move, free to change, without assigning it a task of making something whole. Nothing here is being fixed. Nothing needs to be. Nothing extra is required for this moment to stand. Extra implies addition beyond what is necessary. Here, necessity does not apply. Nothing extra does not remove richness. Experience may be layered. Emotion may deepen. Understanding may broaden. None of this adds substance to what is already whole. The impulse to add often comes from comparison. Comparison imagines a version of this moment that would be more complete. That version exists only as thought. Nothing extra does not simplify experience. Complexity may remain. Thoughts may overlap. Feelings may intertwine. Sensations may compete for attention. None of this indicates excess or deficiency. It simply reflects activity. Nothing extra also means nothing needs to be brought forward from previous moments. Accumulation implies storage. Nothing here is stored. Each moment appears without borrowing from the last, and still nothing is lost. Nothing extra does not deny value. Value may be assigned. Meaning may form. These do not increase or decrease what remains. They belong to interpretation. Nothing extra does not resist embellishment. Embellishment may occur. Stories may elaborate. They do not change what is present. The mind may look for confirmation that this is enough. Enough implies measurement. Measurement requires a scale. No scale is operating here. Nothing extra does not require clarity. Clarity may arise or not. This does not fluctuate with it. Confusion does not subtract. Understanding does not add. Nothing extra also means nothing needs to be removed. Removal implies clutter. Clutter implies excess. Here, nothing crowds what is essential. Even when experience feels crowded, nothing essential is displaced. Nothing extra does not conclude with simplicity. Simplicity is an experience. This is not an experience. It remains, whether things feel simple or complex. Nothing extra does not signal readiness. Readiness implies preparation. This does not prepare. It does not move towards sufficiency. It simply does not lack it. Nothing extra is not an instruction to stop adding. Adding may happen. It simply has no effect on what is already complete. Nothing here is waiting for refinement. Nothing is waiting for subtraction. Nothing is waiting for something more. Nothing has been added for this to be complete. Nothing has been removed to make it so. The words do not finish it. They do not gather meaning into a final shape. They pass without consequence. Nothing missing is not a conclusion. It does not summarize what came before. It does not close a sequence or seal an understanding. Nothing missing was not waiting for this chapter to arrive. It was not assembled through progression. It does not depend on continuity. Even the sense of having followed something step by step belongs to experience. Experience does not define completion. Nothing missing does not feel final. Finality implies an endpoint. There is none here. The body continues in its own timing. Breath moves or pauses. Sound appears and fades. Thoughts may slow or continue at their usual pace. None of this marks an ending. Nothing missing does not announce itself as certainty. Certainty may appear. Doubt may appear. Neither alters what remains. Nothing missing does not claim truth. Claims belong to thought. This does not require agreement. It does not register belief. It does not respond to disbelief. Nothing missing is not reinforced by quiet. Noise does not weaken it. Silence does not strengthen it. It does not depend on atmosphere. It remains without condition. Nothing missing is not held by awareness. Awareness appears within it. It is not supported by experience. Experience appears within it. Nothing missing does not remain present because it is maintained. Maintenance implies effort. No effort is applied here. Even the impulse to hold on belongs. It arises and dissolves without effect. Nothing missing does not ask to be remembered. Remembering implies forgetting. There is nothing here that can be forgotten. It does not need to be carried forward. It does not need to be integrated. Integration implies separation. There is no separation here. Nothing missing does not invite recognition. Recognition does not complete it. It does not resist recognition. It simply does not rely on it. The words end because words do. Nothing missing does not notice